Hiya too, and welcome to another lesson. Today we're going to focus on a reading skill, and the reading skill we're going to focus on today is prediction. So we're going to be making a prediction based on things that we have read. So we have to use evidence based on what we've read to guess what we think is going to happen further on in the book. Okay, so title of today's English lesson is prediction, and I've come up with a prediction question for us which says predict what Sunny might do next, and we are basing that on one of the postcards that he wrote to his family. So this was the postcard that he wrote on Saturday. And on Saturday, he wrote a postcard to his family when he went to stay at Great Aunt Flo's, and he was in the dark and he was scared of the dark, wasn't he? So he kind of emphasised that a little bit in his postcard. So let's take a look at his postcard. Dearest family, Great Aunt Flo lives on her own in a marsh. It is dark and wet. The food is disgusting. It's slimy. And I am lonely, cold and tired. I really, really, really wish you were here, or that I was not. All my love, kisses and snuggles. Sunny. So there it is if you missed any of that postcard. So how is Sunny feeling at the moment? Do you think he's regretting leaving his family? He's got many different members of his extended family, hasn't he? That aren't meerkats, that live very, very differently to him, that he probably thought, yeah, I can cope with that. But do we think he's actually coping with that? So pause this video, have a discussion with your family. How do you think he's feeling? And what decisions do you think he might regret? Now by that I mean, which decisions do you think he wished he hadn't decided to do? And then I'd like to have a think about what you think he is going to do next. So well done to those of you that have done that. Hopefully you've got all of those ideas in your head ready to answer your prediction question. So our prediction question again was predict what Sunny might do next. Now I'm not going to go too much into the PEE because I have covered that a lot already, and I think I did 2 or 3 videos on that on our Google Classroom before we broke up for half term, really going into it in detail. So I'm just going to do a really quick recap. So we start with P, which is our point. We then do our E, which is our evidence. Then we use our other E, which is our explanation. So we always have to make sure we're using PEE to make sure we have a really good structured answer that has lots of detail in it. So, predict what Sunny might do next. Well, it tells me that he wishes his family were there, so his meerkat family, or he just wishes that actually he wasn't there at all. So based on that, I think Sunny would really, really like to be picked up by his family. He might be feeling too scared to travel home on his own. It's dark and he doesn't like the dark. He doesn't like the food, so he's probably feeling really hungry. So he might not have the energy to travel home on his own. Can you see how I've made those points just from the information that's given to me in the postcard? So I'm not just making all these things up. I'm using what's been written down to help me write my prediction. So I think what's going to happen is he's going to send this postcard to his family, and I think his family might turn up to Great Aunt Flo's and come and pick him up. So I'm going to write, I predict, because that's the sentence stem that I have to start with. So I predict Sunny's, I'm going to use the possessive apostrophe because the family belong to Sunny. So I predict Sunny's family will arrive at Great Aunt Flo's house. I've used the possessive apostrophe again to show that the house belongs to Flo. So I predict Sunny's family will arrive at Great Aunt Flo's house to take him home to the desert. So that's just my point. I predict Sunny's family will arrive at Great Aunt Flo's house to take him home to the desert. So we now need to think of our explanation. Not our explanation, our evidence. So I'm going to have to rub this off because I've run out of room, but you wouldn't rub yours off. Yours would be one big paragraph, okay? So I'm going to rub my question off as well, just to give me a little bit more room on here. So my evidence has to come directly from the text. So we've just said that we think his family are going to come and pick him up. So in his postcard it says, "Dearest family, Great Aunt Flo lives on her own in a marsh. It is dark and wet. The food is disgusting, it's slimy, and I am lonely, cold and tired. I really, really, really wish you were here, or that I was not. All my love and kisses and snuggles, Sunny." So the evidence there, it says that he's lonely, he's cold and he's tired and he wishes they were there. So I'm going to put in the postcard, it says, so in the postcard, it says, now remember, when it's evidence, you have to use your speech marks, kind of like your quotation marks. You have to copy exactly what is in that postcard. So it says, "I am lonely, comma, cold and tired. I really, really," and then it goes to capital letters, so I have to do the same because I'm copying it, "really wish you were here." So that is my evidence. I've copied something directly from the text. In the postcard it says, "I am lonely, cold and tired. I really, really, really wish you were here." So going back to my PEE, I've done my point. I've used my evidence from the text. I now need to explain that a little bit more. So again, I'm rubbing mine off because I've run out of room, but you would just write yours as a big paragraph. Okay? So I'm going to put, "This tells me that Sunny regrets leaving his meerkat family and he wants to go home very soon." So this tells me that Sunny regrets leaving his meerkat family and he wants to go home very soon. So based on that question that I gave you at the beginning, I wrote a point, I used some evidence, and I've explained why I think that. So that is how we answer a prediction question. So what I've done for you is I have created some work based on our 5-part English mastery flow model. I would like you to work through that flow and send your work to me. When you hand it in, don't forget to attach a picture. It's really hard for me to see who's understanding the work when you just click hand in. If you're not sure how to hand it in on the Google Classroom, post it on your portfolio on Class Dojo, or send it as a message in Class Dojo, because I can then attach it for you. And then I'm able to see the work that you've completed and I can mark it for you. So head over to the Google Classroom and click on the PDF file and it should open the work for you. Just use some paper and write the answers down. Okay, thank you.